I received this message from a father. He said, "This morning I was playing with blocks with my daughter, age 3. I was doing most of the building, so at one point I told her that she could do the rest. And she said, 'No, Daddy, do it.'" This is a scary moment for parents. I know, we're afraid of our 3-year-olds. We are. Parents are so afraid of the disapproval and anger of their children, so they tend to give in and do what the child wants. And then they think, well, it's no big deal, right? It's just a few blocks. But yes, it is a big deal. If you reward their whining or angry demands, listen, once, you've just taught them how to get what they want. And they will repeat it. And it becomes a pattern faster than weeds can grow, like lightning. And soon you have an entitled child who can't have relationships, can't keep a job, and is dependent on you for the rest of their life. And you think I'm exaggerating. I'm not. Because I've been alive long enough to watch them go from 3 to 33. And exactly this happens. Where do we think this all starts? From one time of our going, "Oh, well, I'll give in because I don't want to hear the disapproval or the whining." Oh, gosh, awful for the kid. So what do you do? What do you do here? Love her. What she enjoys most is doing something with you. Right at that point, you might have said, "Let's do this. I'll do one block and you do a block and we'll do it together." That's one possibility. So another situation came up and Dad did that. He said, I suggested she do one block, and she shouted, "No, Daddy, do it," repeating herself. So it's already become a contest, and she's determined not to lose. Why? Because you've already given in to her demands before. Remember? That's been the pattern. And she doesn't want to lose this very useful way of getting what she wants. If you don't give in, you are stealing a tool that she has found useful. But you must not give her what she wants when she's manipulating or demanding. This is not keep away from your kids what they want. It's not rewarding, demanding, and manipulation. Or you get that pattern form. Dad says, I suggested a different block that she put up. She began to whine, which she knows not to do from the many times we've talked about that. And I said, the father, "Oh, that sounds like whining." Perfect. Really. That was a perfect example of parenting. You stand on a useful and even eternal principle, and she has to learn it, and it's your job to teach her. And you can hold to this position because it's the right position and you've taught it to her before. She knows it. That's why her fit's getting louder. Dad says, she started to cry with tears and climbed into my lap and whined for me to pick her up. She even said, "Please." They're clever. They're very observant. You've taught her exactly how she can get her way. You didn't mean to, but you did teach her. So she experiments with all the tools, the whining, the demanding, the please, the tears. She's going through the whole spectrum. You taught her well, and she learned quickly. But she's still manipulating you. How do you know? Because she didn't ask you to pick her up. She didn't ask for comfort. She's not speaking in English. Her tone is whining and demanding. And that's the problem. It's not standing up. It's not building with blocks. Those are meaningless activities. Dad said, I told her she can sit in my lap and cry as long as she wants. Ooh, nice. She continued to ask me, I want Daddy, pick me up, please. In between, spells of crying where she was sobbing and couldn't speak. Yeah, she's still manipulating you because she's still positive that if she keeps it up, you'll give in and all will be right with the world again. Dad says, I had to feed our son because he was crying, so I put her on the couch and told her she can keep crying there as long as she wants. Perfection. Perfect. Response on your part. The tone and your bearing are critical. Just calm. You can sit here and cry as long as you want. Not, well, then just sit there and cry. That's not the point. That's just flat unloving on the face of it. You can feel it. You need to talk to her and look at her as though she were not crying. You're just giving her information. You can stay there and cry as long as you wish. You're completely unconcerned. Dad says, I finished feeding my son, went over to her and asked her if she was done whining. Calm. And because it was done calmly, the girl said, yes, I'm done whining. It's over. Why? Because Dad loved her. That's it. The tone. Not all this complicated back and forth manipulating. No. Do I beat her with a spoon? Relax. Love her. And she went, yeah, I'm done whining. Before picking her up, and then he said he picked her up. Before picking her up, I would have said to her this, a moment of teaching. She's 3. She'll understand. Why did I not pick you up before? And then we would have talked, she and I. She might have gotten the answer, maybe not. So we would have talked about how she was whining and crying before. And we simply don't do that. She's a big girl and can speak English. She's very talented. It's very cool that she can speak English, so that's what we're going to use. When she whines, I don't give her what she's demanding, which includes picking her up. So you wait for her to say, yes, I'm done, and then teach the lesson so she gets it. Dad says, I don't know where the line is to comfort them when crying. Oh, easy. You comfort a crying child when they're simply in pain that is not related to their manipulating you for something. There. How's that for easy? Like they fall down. Well, it hurts. When they're tired and grouchy, or if they're sick, or it's late. Adults whine and cry when it's late and they're sick. You never comfort a child who's demanding something. The reward of your comfort will guarantee that they'll continue to whine in the future, and that's terrible. Kids watch us closely under a microscope. If we reward anything they do, they'll do that thing again. Just be aware of what you do when they manipulate, whining, crying, begging, and demand. And if they're old enough to understand speech, explain that you're happy to talk with them about what they want. But whining and demanding won't work. If you're consistent, they will get it. They learn what you teach. They have already. They've learned the wrong way from us. Now we can teach them a better way. The only reason children whine and demand is because we taught them. And now we can teach them a better way to live, a happier way.